13 years ago, I started uploading videos on YouTube. The first 11 of those years were filled with passion, experimentation, a lot of failure, mostly no views, and a lot of work with no results. But in the last 2 years, I've been able to make $3 million making videos on social media because one thing changed in my mindset, and that was being intentional about the content I was producing. I realized that content wasn't luck. Nobody was gonna find me because I was funny and making jokes in my videos. Nobody was interested in who I am. I realized that content was all formulaic. Everything is on purpose. There's no luck. Success is guaranteed if you're intentional with why you're making a piece of content and what that result is gonna be. And that's exactly what I learned. So I'm gonna take you through my journey starting social media, why I started, how I started, and then when that moment clicked in my head and everything changed forever. And luckily for you and me, due to the nature of what this business is, everything since I was 10 years old is documented on the internet, and you can watch and see in depth of, my entire journey trying to do this to where now I think I can say I'm doing it. So it all started when I was about 10 years old and I started skateboarding. My entire friend group did it before me. I was like the last one to join. I was the one who didn't know what he was doing, the one who was trying to keep up with everyone. And I got bullied. I'm telling you, I got absolutely shit on because I was the last to learn the tricks, and whenever I would do something, I would tell my boys, hey, I learned how to do a kickflip. It didn't matter unless you had proof. That was the name of the game back then, 2011 or whenever. Those motherfuckers were ruthless. I needed proof for every trick I did, so I got on Instagram and started filming myself every time I did a trick, every time I was trying to learn a trick, every time I went to a new skate park, started posting every single thing I was doing. And the way I learned how to do all these tricks was, guess what? Through YouTube videos teaching me how to do it. So naturally, in my 11-year-old mind, when I learned how to do the trick, or even learned how to do something as simple as putting a wheel on and off of a skateboard, my natural instinct was to make a YouTube video teaching other people how to put a wheel on a skateboard and how to do a kickflip. So that was born my first ever YouTube videos. I had no idea about algorithms, thumbnails, tags, titles. I don't even know if the videos had titles. I was just posting what I saw. I was replicating what I was looking up to. But naturally, throughout the years, skateboarding kind of faded away as my hobby, and then I naturally just started making videos about my next interest with a little bit more leveled up skill of YouTube, and that was born my hypebeast phase. This was the first time anybody ever knew me from my videos before I got any type of subscribers. I had like 5,000 subscribers at the peak of this phase. I was going to my sneaker conventions doing videos about Supreme unboxings, Yeezy unboxings, and this was like my first taste of a real grind on YouTube. It's crazy because to this day, I don't know how I did it. I wasn't making any money. I just felt compelled from the inside to be literally daily uploading. I was filming videos just like this, camera set up, talking about stuff, putting it on my computer, editing the video, making the thumbnail, posting it every single day. And you can see this on my original Owen Lynch YouTube channel. I was actually grinding almost as hard as I am now. Like, I was working really hard. And I think it's just because I loved it. Like, I wanted to make it happen. It was just a matter of this is what I watched. All I ever consumed was YouTube videos. So it was all I ever wanted to be. And this is really where my love and like where I solidified within myself that this is what I wanted to do forever. But this is also one of the biggest lessons I ever learned because I quit. After like 2 years-ish, I became less interested in the clothes, the shoes. And because of that, I was like, oh, I don't care about the stuff anymore, so I'm not gonna make the videos anymore. And that was probably my biggest regret ever to this day. But it taught me a lesson that kept me going later on in the future, and probably is the only reason that I'm actually here now today. Because the following 2 years were like my sophomore and junior year of high school, and I got kind of sucked into life. I mean, maybe it wasn't such a bad thing. I was just kind of being a kid. I was in high school, but I had no direction, and that's never really worked for me. Whenever I was in school, I always had a title. Like, I was always the kid who skateboards, the kid who's a YouTuber, the kid who's a hypebeast. Like, I was always known for doing something. I always stood out for doing something. I was never just with the flow. And obviously that didn't last for long because then came around TikTok. Probably my most shameful phase in social media. My 0 to 100K on YouTube is pretty comparable to my hypebeast phase on YouTube. I was doing thirst traps. I was doing transitions in the mirror, just wearing gray sweatpants, just really going fucking crazy. And it worked. But besides the surface value of the content that I was actually making, I was back into a routine of following trends, making my own content, coming up with ideas, stealing other ideas and making them better. And that got me back into the flow of things. I grew from 0 to 100K on TikTok in a little bit less than a year, but the same thing happened. I looked back at myself and I was like, what am I doing? These videos suck. It's not going anywhere. My views were down and I stopped posting. But then I had a moment of reflection. I looked back to my old self and I looked back to what I could be, and I was there in the middle. I was like, okay, is this the same thing as when I had 5K subs on YouTube and I quit? Because I was like, hey, if I know what I knew now, I could go back to those 5K subs on YouTube. If I would have been grinding that, I would have been at 100K by now, probably would have been able to drop out of school. Because at this point, I hadn't made any money. I got like 100K followers on TikTok, whatever. I've never even done a brand deal, never even made $1. And I'm like, I know I can make something of this because I'm looking at the future. I'm like, fuck, bro, I either go to college or I just go all in. And that was what happened. That day, I pretty much randomly executed a video where I did like a treasure hunt in my parents' house because I was still living in my parents' house at the time. I did like this treasure hunt thing that had no thirst trap, didn't even have my face in it. It was like a POV video. And that became like my most viewed TikTok ever. I got the most followers from it ever. And then that enacted the content, like TikTok phase. Like I started making voiceover, like story time videos. I started making videos about slime. For some reason, I filled up a wubble bubble with 1 million Orbeez and I did update videos. I was doing whatever it took to get followers. And this got me from 1 to 2.5 million on TikTok. And throughout the way up there is when I finally made my first dollar on social media around 2020. And then obviously this started a new phase, right? This is during COVID. So it was my last year of high school. I was already gonna go to college, but I had a little planned like 6th month break in between when I started college and when I graduated high school. So my plan, I was like, okay, I'm already doing online school. If I just grind throughout the end of the school year, because I was just skipping. I got this little plugin that made it look like my face was in the class, but I was actually just skipping class, grinding TikToks. I had my whiteboard. I was writing out my daily goals. Like this was like, I was all in because at this point in time, I figured out about brand deals, which was my first ever big source of income on social media. Big is relative, you know, compared to I started getting emails from brands. Hey, I'll give you $50 to promote my app. $100, and then I would get paid $100 to promote an app, and then I would then get an email from another app, and I was like, hey, I want 200 because this, I would just lie and be like, the last person paid me 200. And then I worked my way up, not even gaining any more followers. I just started learning the negotiation and the sales side of it, because being an influencer, making money on social media, unless you have success in another career beforehand, you learn it all. Everything that I do, like I learned how to make a good video, be a creative storyteller from start to finish, convert to a product, learn how to do sales to sell myself as a product, display my own value for a potential advertiser. Like it's amazing when you think about it, like the amount of skills that I learned throughout this journey. But this is where the sales came in, and I just did what I naturally did. I got a brand deal. I realized that made me money. I set up a system. Every day I would go DM 100 brands on Instagram. And then obviously I went through the big ones. Like I would look at food companies, candy companies, anything that would work with my viral-ish content. And then I had enough money. I was making like $2,000, $3,000 a month. I hired a virtual assistant to make me a list of all the emails of brands and Instagram accounts of brands. So then I would email the brands, DM the brands from the list, which made it even easier. So at this point, I got myself to where I had some recurring deals, like brands I convinced to pay me every month, like $1,000. And then I had some one-off deals, and I was making 5K a month range. And then I was rocking out here for a while. This is when I started making big plays. I had about $10,000 saved up, and I spent it all on a car. I bought, at the time, my dream car, an AMG C63S. Beautiful fucking car. It was almost brand new. It was the dream. My friend had one of these in high school. His parents had bought it for him, and I was obsessed with the car. And this just made me not want to work 10 times harder. I literally had to work 10 times harder because I spent all my cash on this car, and the monthly payment was $1,100 plus insurance was like $1,600 a month to have this car. And at this point, I wasn't even paying rent. I didn't have any expenses. I wasn't used to anything. I got this car, and it kind of like put me back against the wall like I knew it would. I got this to put pressure on myself, and it did exactly that. It gave me a taste of luxury. I started going to car meets. I started meeting people with expensive cars, and it was here where I met the first 2 or 3 people who showed me a YouTube dashboard, say, look, I made $200,000 this month. I said, 200,000 fucking dollars in a month? We're talking about 75 times the amount of money I'm making in a month. And I'm like, this is impossible. Like I literally cried to my boy. I'm like, bro, fuck, like I just don't understand how I'm gonna get to that next level. But it never slowed me down. It never stopped me. I just kept working, kept grinding, grinding, and eventually it was like this luck and skill, like just the timing of an opportunity, and my skill set lined up like this, and then I met Snapchat shows. At the time, the way most creators were making money on Snapchat was through a show. One of those things on the explore page with all the news. So basically, I got one of those to put my TikToks on. That was the original goal, because my friend did it. And again, when somebody shows you the potential of an opportunity and you see somebody you know with the same skill set able to achieve something, it should just absolutely solidify in your head that I can 100% achieve that. And that's what I felt. It was right there. It was right in front of my eyes, and I went for it. My friend was like, I made $45,000 my first month. So I got in there. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. I remember I started like a week until the end of the month. So it was like a week of work, and then I got paid like $3,000 in a week. I was making that in like only a little more than that in a month. So I'm already like, oh, this is big. And then everyone kind of had this mindset about it. It was weird. They were like, bro, I'm doing no work and I'm making $10,000 a month, bro. Like, I don't even have to try at all, bro. I'm making like an extra 5, 10K. And I'm like, if you don't have to try to make 5 or 10K, what if I just try? And I fucking tried, okay? People were posting one time a week. I started posting every fucking day. I made $20,000 in that month. I remember that I made a moment. I was driving in the city of Miami with my cameraman Cole, who's been with me through everything, and I'm like, bro, I made $20,000 this month. And he's like, holy shit, like that's big, like that's big time. Do you think you're gonna be able to keep it up? And I'm like, we'll see. Then I learned the platform. I had the skill set specifically for this platform, so I expanded. I started making reaction shows. I started making Snapchat shows about news. I made a LGBTQ centered news show on Snapchat. I was doing everything that the algorithm wanted. I was partnering up with demons, bro. Like, I was working with all these editors. Everyone was dialed. Everyone was hungry. Everyone was just making their first big amount of money. It was the best time of my life business-wise. We were all locked in so much. In the next 3 months, I went October, $20,000, November, $60,000, December, I made $140,000 fucking dollars. Not to mention the payments from this were hitting 3 months delayed. I was sitting at Christmas with my family. I'm like $0 in my bank account. I was like running up credit cards. I bought my dad like a new iMac, and I'm like 10K in like credit card debt because none of the payments had hit yet. I'm like, yo, I'm waiting on like 200 bands right now. I've never seen my bank account above 15,000. And I'm like just sitting there just twiddling my thumbs. And January 1st, it's like boom, boom. The first 2 months hit. There's like $96,000 in my bank account. I take a screenshot of that, send it to a freaking landlord. Same week, get approved to move into a house in Fort Lauderdale. And I move into this house with cameraman Cole, like I'm talking about. Like, this is just how fastly I was escalating shit. I was like, as soon as that money hit, I'm like, boom, I'm in a house now. Literally proved my income with a screenshot of my bank account. Half of the money wasn't even mine because I had to send it to one of my partners. And yeah, this is like the big money era. My confidence was up. At this point, I then bought my second car. I bought a G-Wagon. I wrapped it neon yellow like I always wanted to. That was like my big dream car. Like the neon G-Wagon was like my image of I made it. Like I made everything happen. And just like everything in the past was going up and down, this came crashing down. I lost everything. There was something that happened. Basically a person-to-person conflict. Nothing to do with my business, nothing to do with the work I was doing, but because I was working through an agency. Pretty much I watched every source of income I had on Snapchat get stripped in front of me. Also during this time, I experimented with faceless YouTube channels. I know that's a massive buzzword on here, and especially for people who want to make money on the internet. I think it's perfect. If you want to take advantage of YouTube, take advantage of this platform, pretty much giving you guaranteed money if you just crack their algorithm, but don't want to show your face. It's absolutely perfect. And I also developed confidence doing this because I started channels about crime. I started channels about famous people. We just algorithm hacked it, made good thumbnails, targeted good niche. And this is when I realized like I was able to get views on anything. We got millions and millions of views on these crime channels. I didn't end up personally sticking with it. I think we sold all the channels because I just wanted to chase something with my personal brand and with my face in front of the camera because I think that's what I'm naturally meant for. But I was able to take my skills and expand in that direction just to kind of build up the resume and the confidence that I'm able to do these things and that it is truly not an accident. Everything with good systems and the right pieces clicking together, the right pieces of the puzzle can make anything happen. And I'll also mention during the Snapchat era was when I realized that I have never made any big money. I have never made life-changing money, done a life-changing business by myself. It has always been with a partner. Anytime I've ever made big money, anytime I've ever made a shit ton of money, I've also made somebody else all equally a shit ton of money, if not more. And if you're not okay with that, if you keep trying to conserve all the pieces of the pie, I mean, I know it's typical, but you'd rather have 10% of 100 million than 100% of 1 million. So give shit away. If you think somebody's down for the ride, if you've vetted somebody, they work hard, they know what they're doing, and they're locked into the same business as you, fucking give them half, because you'll expand 20 times if you guys are both in the same headspace. And then I was confident enough at the time. I had a good network of people around me. I had a good amount of money and I had a good amount of knowledge about the space. And this was the first real test. I was like, I took a 6-minute video basically recording in my backyard, and I'm like, yeah, shit just got real. But was I planning on stopping at $100,000 a month? Was I planning on that being what I was doing for the rest of my life? My sleep schedule was fucked. I was writing scripts. I was spending all my time at a desk. Like, was that really what I wanted to spend another 2-3 years doing? Or was this exactly what I needed? Take this money, take this knowledge, and turn it into another opportunity. So I was like, this is the truth. Like, this will show if I actually have it like that. And that's exactly what it did. At this time, I already had 1 million on YouTube, like I said, from posting my TikTok stuff. And I went all in back on YouTube, started going crazy on shorts. I got up to like 10K a month on my own YouTube shorts channel. And then that's when I met my girlfriend. I started running her social medias. I started her channel. That's this Placachino right here is the fastest channel I ever got to 1 million subscribers. We got it to 100K in the first month, which, you know, now if I start a short channel, I could do 100K in a week, but we're talking about last year. 100K in a month and then 1 million in like 4 months. Like, both of our channels are going crazy. And then I was just like filled with just this confidence based on execution. I was like, everything I'm doing at this point is calculated. Every single piece of content has an intention. I either make this piece of content to convert to another platform to sell something. I make this piece of content to maximize the amount of ad revenue I'm making on YouTube. I make this piece of content to convert the maximum amount of subscribers to have the bigger fan base. Like, every single thing I ever did from that point on all the way until this day to this video, every single thing is calculated. And that is why I know it is not an accident. Success is not luck. Success is not handed to anybody. Success can be achieved in any metric, in any regard, whether it's a real world business or an online business. But for you, if you're watching this, you're probably more interested in creative businesses like YouTube, online businesses like any part of a YouTube channel. And every single thing can be achieved just by having the right skill set and taking advantage of the right opportunities, but every move you have to make is intentional. And at this point, we then expanded to making channels in other languages. I have more subscribers now on my YouTube channel in Spanish than I do in English. I have 7 million subscribers on Hao and in Espanol. I have 700,000 subscribers on my Portuguese YouTube channel. I have 6-point-something million subscribers on my main channel. Camilla has 6 million subscribers on her main channel, 5 million on Spanish, 4 or 3 million on Portuguese. And in total, we also manage now below us other creators. We have multiple other YouTube channels over 1 million subscribers, which makes a total network of 25 million subscribers. And not only YouTube, I've been able to completely master every single social media for its individual strength and weakness. I know what is best content to make on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I call them the big 3. I know which content to post where, how to repurpose content made specifically from one platform to another. And our systems currently allow us to post over 500 videos a week, 5 videos a day per profile, per platform, per account, based on just my team building skills and everything I've learned through the network of people I have around me, and basically just pure manpower all working towards one goal. Because once the machine is flowing, once you know why you're making a piece of content and how that's going to convert, it'll change your outlook. Like, when the input becomes clearly rewarded by an output, it makes work so much more satisfying. Like, when you say, okay, I can get 1,000 views and I'm getting paid $1, and you can write that formula down, then all you gotta do is get the fucking views. The money's already there. It's already sitting right in front of your face. The conversion is already sitting right in front of your face. If you're on TikTok and it says every single one of these fucking products you sell, you get $20 from, you put that fucking TikTok shop link, and all you have to do is make videos. You just experiment. You throw shit at the wall. You try 5 concepts at once. If one of them works, you try that one concept 100 more times until it dies, and you just rinse and repeat that no matter what, because this is the truth. So that's it. That's the last 13 years of my life, which is actually the majority of my life. I'm only 21 years old now, and that means that I've been a student of the game, and now for the last 2 years, I've been successfully, very high level doing this, and I'm insanely proud of myself. But the only thing that really changed was my intention. Just stop doing things half-assed. And what I mean by that isn't putting half of your effort or not trying fully. It's that you only learn one piece of the pie. Like, if you learn how to make a good video, that's only one thing. Like I said, if you're locked in, you got to do all of it, and you have to know exactly how you're going to do it. If you know how to make a viral TikTok, you better learn how to do brand outreach and sales. If you know how to make a viral YouTube short, you better know how to slip a CTA in there, and you better have that converting to something other than subscribers, because what are you building? Why are you building? Just don't do things one step at a time. Think about the long run, because when you start locking in for something and looking at it in terms of years rather than months, your life is going to change. When that input finally gives you an equal and opposite output, when you know you can track what you're putting in for a certain amount of money or a certain amount of followers, it's going to make the game so much easier. And that's what I've learned, and that's all that I want to give away. Like I said, when I learned how to do a skateboard trick when I was 11, my first natural reaction was to teach everyone how to do that skateboard trick, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. Because I know somewhere out there's somebody exactly like me, and all I want to do is serve as proof, example. It's real. It can happen. It's possible. It can happen to anybody. All you have to do is have the time, lock in, and follow the right steps. And if you're interested in working with me more closely, I don't have much time. I got 25 million of my own subscribers to run, but I do have some time open for a one-on-one mentorship with people who are really high level, who are really dedicated to this game, maybe business owners who want to just take on social media full speed ahead because you already have the resources, or somebody who just trusts my knowledge and wants me to just be on the phone with you every week, giving you a step-by-step plan exactly what to do. And I'd love to do that for somebody because I love seeing results. I love just teaching my skill. Like I said, it's always been what I naturally am driven to do. So subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting a lot more social media related stuff about my content, my journey. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.